Okay, can I start the class? Okay, only 65 participants are there. Still added. Okay, no problem. Continue. Okay, what we learn. Guys, what we learn in the last class? In the last class, uh, I explained the concept of super loop based approach. Okay. And the concept of embedded firmware design approaches. Okay. Two main approaches are there. First one is called super loop based approach, and second one is called OS based approach, operating system based approach. Okay. Already in the last class, we learn what is the super loop based approach. Okay. Anybody tell me what is the super loop based approach? Why it is called a super loop based approach? What is the super loop? Super loop in the sense infinite loop. Super loop in the sense infinite loop. Okay. Then what infinite loop can do here? Okay. What are the tasks we have to perform? Okay. And what are the tasks we want to perform in the designing of small scale embedded systems? Okay. All those tasks are directly assigned in that infinite loop. Okay. That embedded system programming execution done sequentially one by one in that infinite loop. Okay, that is called a super loop based approach. Okay, that is the methodology, basic methodology. Okay, similarly next one is, okay, I hope you are all best aware of the super loop based approach from the last class. Okay, it contains, and when we consider on C language program, it contains some void function, configure and extensionalization. Next, infinite loop started here as a while of one. Okay, while of one, and that infinite loop contains the number of tasks: task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, up to task n. Okay, all those tasks are sequentially executed one by one, one by one, one by one. Okay, at the end of the last task, again it goes to first task. Okay, in this way, but this super loop based approach method is not suitable for hard real-time system applications. This is suitable for only small scale uh, soft real-time applications. Why? Because this super loop based approach, okay, doesn't provide that much of flexibility, and it doesn't provide that much of accuracy. Okay, and the interference, I mean, interference of other tasks while performing this sequential execution involves only uh, two techniques. Okay, first one is by directly providing one interrupt signal is the one technique, and second technique is by providing hard reset. Okay, already you know what is meant by hard reset. Okay, uh, and can you tell me the limitations of that super loop based approach method? Okay. In the super loop based approach method is suitable for only small scale applications. Okay, okay, and it's suitable for only soft real time systems, and where the time constraints are very crucial. In that case, this is not sufficient. Okay, And this is the super loop based method is best suitable where the real-time operating system is not required, and that much of small scale applications, just like in video games. Okay, the small video game applications ఉంటాయి కదా. Okay, in such applications this super loop base, okay, this type of method is best suitable. Okay, see here, while main configurations initializations, while of one is the infinite loop, that's why this is called a super loop. Here all the tasks given here, task 1, task 2, task 3, task n. Okay, and all those tasks are sequentially executed one by one here. Okay, that is called a super loop based approach. Okay, and moreover this super loop based approach doesn't require any operating system. Okay, that is the advantage, and moreover it is very simple, and it is very economical in the embedded systems point of view. Okay, moreover priorities are okay, and what are the interrupts came from outside. Okay, doesn't have any priorities. Okay, what is the on the first come first serve basis. Okay, it takes the interrupts on the first come first serve basis. This type of super loop based approach is suitable for only low cost embedded products. Okay, and where the products have response time is not time critical. Okay, that is the soft real time systems. Okay, at the same time some embedded products demands this type of approach, so some tasks itself or sequential. Okay, already I told you it executes those tasks sequentially. Okay, here explained with an example of card reader. Okay, or memory card of our mobile or our laptop, whatever it may be. Okay, just detection of that pen drive. Okay, just read that pen drive. If it has enough space, then read the data from the pen drive or write into that pen drive. Okay, those are the tasks it will perform. Okay, is it required any separate operating system for that applications? Okay, no, not at all required. Okay. That much of operating system for that embedded system. Okay, that's all about super loop basic design. See here, already see in the last class, the major drawback of the super loop based design approach is the lack of real-time timeliness. Okay, why? Because the super loop based design approach is only suitable for soft real-time systems or the systems where the timeliness is not a constraint. At that place, this super loop based design approach is best suitable. You can see here, if the number of tasks to be executed within an application increases, the time at which each task is repeated also increases. Okay, that's why this brings the probability of missing out some events. That is the main problem. Okay. For example, in a system with the keypads, according to the super loop design, there will be a task for monitoring the keypad connected to IO lines, and this need not be task running while you press the key. అంతే కదా, యాక్చువల్గా ఇక్కడ కీబోర్డ్ యూస్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఐఓ లైన్స్ నుంచి వచ్చేదాన్ని నేను తీసుకుంటాను. Okay, in order to identify that key press, you may have to press the key for a sufficiently long time. Okay, and by mistake నేను ఏదైనా ప్రెస్ చేస్తాను అనుకోండి. Okay, if it considered as a significant and intentionally pressing that key. Okay, I am intentionally pressing that key. Okay, I must press that key with some specific time. Then only it considered as a that input. Okay, and that key press as a input. Okay, that is the point here. In order to identify the key press, you may have to press the keys for a sufficient long time till the keypad status monitoring task is executed internally by the firmware. Okay, this is really lead to the lack of real timeliness. Okay, then for example cheppadante. Okay, there are some corrective measures are also there. The best advised option to use is interrupts. Okay, okay, interrupts. Okay, and especially for the super loop based approach. Okay, the best uh, advantage by considering external inputs is by taking it as an interrupts. Okay, that is the point here. The best advisor option to use the interrupts for external events requiring real-time attention. Okay, advances in processor technology brings out the low-cost and high-speed processors or controllers. Use such processors in a super loop-based design greatly reduces the time required to service different tasks, and they were capable of providing nearly real-time attention for the external events. Okay, 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 while the embedded system entered to that super loop once, okay, okay, generally it is unable to take that external events. Okay, to assign that external events, best technique is by providing ISR. That's why, especially in this third unit, okay, they will give the concept of entire ISR. I mean, actually interrupt service routines. Okay, how to handle multiple interrupts. Okay, and related DMA related some DMA related operations. Okay, and why, especially in this topic, they provide that concept of interrupts is the this is the reason. Okay, okay, this is about super loop based design. And the second method of uh, firmware design approach is embedded operating system based approach. Okay, embedded operating system based approach. Embedded operating system based approach is also called as a real-time operating system based approach. Why? Because especially for the embedded applications, we always prefer real-time operating system. Okay, that's why this embedded operating system based approach is also called as real-time operating system based approach. Okay, okay, and basically this operating system based approach is organized as two parts here. First one is general purpose operating system. Okay, and what is the operating system we generally use in our desktops? Okay, the Windows, Linux, like that. That is the general purpose operating system, and which is used for general purpose applications. And second one is real time operating system. And what is the operating system we generally prefer for our embedded applications? Okay, it is the real time operating system. Okay, that's why, especially in the concept of embedded operating system based approach, here he deals with these two topics as general purpose operating system and real time operating system based approach. Okay, I hope you know general operating systems. Okay, desktop operating system functionalities. Okay, tasks and how to schedule the tasks, the task scheduling. Okay, okay, how to schedule the multiple tasks and came into the existence. Okay, so I'll leave it. We deal this topic in a systematic way. As first you have to deal with general purpose operating system. Okay, see here the operating system based approach contains operating system which can be either general purpose operating system or real time operating system, whatever it may be. Generally that real time operating system is best suitable for our embedded systems. Okay, so and either one, general purpose operating system or real time operating system, but in practical they always prefer the real time operating system for our embedded applications. Okay, here two techniques are there. So first consider the general purpose operating system. What do you understand from the general purpose operating system? Especially the general purpose operating system based design is very similar to conventional operating system and conventional PC based desktop and చెప్పా కదా. Okay, such type of uh, PC based application. where the device contains an operating system like Windows or Unix or Linux. Okay, it is for desktop PCs. Okay, and you will be creating and running user applications on the top of it. And generally, okay, what are the application software we developed. Okay, already you know operating system is there. Okay, on the top operating system we have some system software. Okay, on that system software we have some application software. Okay, generally we are the users. Okay, we are the users who want to interface with the application software. Okay, I mean Microsoft Office only. Okay, MS Paint. Okay, Notepad, WordPad. Okay, and Photoshop. All these are just application softwares. Okay, actually మనకు ఆ పై ఒక్క లేయరే తెలుస్తుంది. Okay, but in between that application software and that internal OS, okay, some intermediate is there. Okay, that intermediate is the system software. Okay, okay. At but bottom level it is completely operating system. Okay, and the operating system always take care of that system software and that application software uh, scheduling, okay, prioritizing, okay, interfacing. Okay, uh, for all this purpose uh, uh, here OS runs in a background. Okay, see here example of general purpose OS is the general purpose OS used in embedded product development is Microsoft. Okay, whatever I told you, the examples here, Microsoft and MS Office. Okay, Windows XP. See here, that is the operating system they told about. Okay, Microsoft Windows XP, Microsoft. Okay, what are they? Windows XP embedded. Examples for embedded products using Microsoft Windows XP OS or personal digital assistants PDS. Okay, handheld devices. Okay, and that is general purpose. Okay, and these are generally used in PC or desktop operating systems. Okay, okay. And here these are the examples for general purpose operating systems. Okay. And when we go to that real-time operating system, we clearly know the difference between the general purpose operating system and the real-time operating system. Okay. Use of this GPOS in embedded products measures the demarcation. Already you listen the word the demarcation in VLSI. VLSI to separate the pull up and pull downs. Okay, there they mention a one line, okay, dotted line, that is called an demarcation line. Okay, here also for the best understanding, the use of GPOS in embedded products measures the demarcation of embedded systems and general purpose computing system in terms of OS. Okay, here also general purpose OS and real-time operating systems have similar functionalities, but the key difference is the general purpose operating system is suitable for different applications, almost all the applications, whereas the real-time operating system suitable for, okay, among that all the applications only suitable for specific applications. That is the difference. That's why, okay, that embedded product measures the demarcation of embedded systems and general purpose computing systems. Okay, that's why he mentioned that embedded system and general purpose computing system in terms of OS, okay, have some demarcation line. So here for developing an applications on the top of the OS, the OS supported APIs. Already you know application interfaces, already you know. Okay, OS supported, already I told you the application softwares. Okay, there is the APIs. Okay, already you know APIs. Okay. Similar to the different hardware specific drivers, OS based application is also requires some driver software. Okay, already I told you what is meant by device drivers. Okay, device drivers. Okay. And where the device drivers are somewhat hardware devices, just like an L293D. Okay, here the device drivers, but it is in the form of software. It is the driver softwares. Okay, driver software for different hardware present on the board to communicate with them. Okay, I told you that is the intermediate with internal software and the external hardware. Okay, or internal software and external software interface. ఎలాగైనా అయ్యొచ్చు కదా. Okay, that is called driver softwares. See here, okay, that's all about only general purpose operating system. So when come to the real-time operating system, especially this RTOS, that real-time operating system is especially designed for only for our embedded applications. Okay, whereas general purpose operating system is used for all the general purpose applications like our desktop computers or our laptops, okay, or personal PCs, okay, or our palm tops, okay, mainframes, supercomputers, okay, all those computers generally uses general purpose operating system. Okay, but especially for embedded products we always use the real-time operating system. Okay, why? Because that real-time operating system able to respond with our real-time applications. Okay, see here, what he mentioned with mentioned for RTOS concepts. Okay, the real-time operating system is basic design. The real-time operating system based design approach is employed in embedded products, demanding real-time responses. Okay. Next, RTOS respond in a timely and predictable manner to events. There's the point here. The real-time operating system must respond in timely, because it's the time critical. Of course, time critical severity is also classified with hard real time and soft real time here. Okay, but anyway, it must be timely. RTOS respond in a timely and predictable manner to the events. Okay, and what that real time operating system contains. Okay, okay, and what is the system behind that operating system which take care of all those responsibilities. Okay, that is kernel. Okay, the real-time operating system contains a real-time kernel responsible for performing preemptive multitasking. That is the difference here. Okay, that is the general purpose operating system and real-time operating system. The key difference is the preemptive multitasking. Okay, preemptive multitasking, and generally these are the responsibilities of any operating system. Okay, multitasking, multi-threading, okay, scheduling, prioritizing, okay, communicating, okay, all these are responsibilities of any operating system, especially for this real-time operating system. Okay, especially for this real-time operating system, which is very responsible for timely and predictable manner to events. Okay, especially for this real-time kernel responsible for preemptive multitasking, scheduler for scheduling tasking, and multiple threads, etc. Okay, and one more advantage of this real-time operating system is it allows the flexible scheduling of systems resources like CPU and memory, and offers some way communicate between tasks. Okay, and the inter-task communication. Okay, that is the one major topic, and that is the one major topic, and that is a separate chapter. Okay, and what are the roles and responsibilities of the RTOS? Okay, that is a separate unit. See here, the real-time operating system allows the flexible scheduling of a system resources like CPU and memory, and offers Okay, some way to communicate between the task. Okay, task inter-task, that is called inter-task communication. Okay, inter-task communication. Okay, that's why here it clearly mentions we will discuss the basics of RTOS system-based design in a later chapter titled "Designing with an Real-Time Operating System." That's why that is the point here. Okay, why? Because this is not a just 3 lines or 4 lines information. That is a separate unit, and that is a major topic, and that is very useful concept to you in real time. Okay, of course, in exam point of view also, but especially we study this subject to learn something. Okay, moreover, it is a completely theoretical. Okay, within a night, we are able to read these concepts and write it in an exam to get a good marks. Okay, that is not at all a problem. But here, what we learn from this concept, okay, especially that firmware design approaches are classified into 2 types as, okay, super loop based approach and uh, second one is operating system based approach. Already you know super loop based approach that contains infinite loop. That's why that is called super loop. Okay, in that loop it contains number of tasks. Those tasks are sequentially executed. If I want to interrupt those tasks, okay, I am used 2 techniques. Okay, what are those 2 techniques? First technique is called hard resetting, and second one is called by using interrupts concepts. Okay, among the in between these two interrupts, okay, interrupts is the best concept, which is used to interrupt or interfere into the uh, execution of some events. Okay, in super loop based approach. And the second technique is operating system based approach. Here also again it is organized as a 2 parts. As first one is general purpose operating system based approach. Okay, and second one is real time operating system. General purpose operating system generally used for all desktop, laptop, PCs, okay, farm tops, okay, mainframes and supercomputers, and that is the general purpose. Okay, and real time operating system is especially designed for our real time applications. Moreover, it is completely responsible for timely and predictable manner to events, okay, and a proper scheduling. Okay, and these are the points we learned from this concept. Finally, see here: Windows CE, PSOS, VXWorks, ThreadX, Micro C or OS2, okay, embedded Linux, Symbian. Okay, this is also a very useful operating system. ETC are the examples of RTOS employed in embedded product development. Okay, so వీటిలో మనకి ఎక్కువ యూస్ చేసేది ఏంటంటే Symbian is the one of the famous operating system for the embedded systems. Okay, especially for the mobile phones, PDAs, handheld devices, okay, are the examples of embedded products based on RTOS. Okay, అంటే జనరల్గా ఆర్టీఓఎస్ యూస్ చేసుకునే డివైసెస్. మొబైల్ ఫోన్స్ అంటే కంప్లీట్లీ ఆర్టీఓఎస్ కదా, అండ్ మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది మొబైల్ ఫోన్స్ ఆర్ బిల్ట్ అరౌండ్ ది పాపులర్ ద పాయింట్. ఓకే, ఆర్టీఓఎస్ కాల్డ్ Symbian. ఓకే, యాక్చువల్గా దీని మీద కొన్ని పర్చేసెస్ కూడా జరిగినాయి. యాక్చువల్గా నోకియా యాక్చువల్గా నోకియాని యాక్చువల్గా వాడు సేల్ చేశాడు కదా. ఓకే, అప్పుడు యాక్చువల్గా వాడు యూజ్ చేసిన సాఫ్ట్వేర్ కూడా Symbian సాఫ్ట్వేర్. Symbian అంటే ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ అనమాట. ఇప్పుడు యాక్చువల్గా ఆండ్రాయిడ్ ఉంది కదా, ఆండ్రాయిడ్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో ఓఎస్ హియర్. ఓకే, కాకపోతే యాక్చువల్గా ఈ బుక్ రాసేసరికి ఆండ్రాయిడ్ అంత డెవలప్ అయ్యి ఉండదు. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు అన్ని కూడా యూజ్ చేస్తామంటే మొబైల్ ఫోన్స్. ఓకే, ఆండ్రాయిడ్ బేస్డ్. ఓకే, ఇట్స్ వెరీ ఫాస్టర్. Okay, it's all about embedded operating system based approach. Okay, I hope you understand and learn something from the firmware design approaches. Okay, did you get the at least skeleton? Okay. Yes, I hope you learn something from this concept. And the next concept is, as per our syllabus, Okay, embedded firmware development languages. And what are the languages which is used to develop that firmware? Okay, ఇవన్నీ మీకు తెలిసినవి ఇవి. Okay, అంటే దేంట్లో డెవలప్ చేస్తుంటాడు? What are the different languages available? Embedded firmware development languages. Okay, regarding to low level languages, maybe machine language, but we are unable to write that machine language. That's why maybe he uses assembly level language, assembly level. Okay, or high level language, either low level language or high level language. In the low level language, okay, he may use assembly language. In high level languages, he may use maybe C or CPP or Java or Oracle or .NET or PHP. Okay, several high level languages are there, but among that they always prefer C, CPP and Java. Okay, C is the basic language, but CPP and Java, these are completely object oriented programming languages. OOPS concept. Okay, and the creation of function is very easy. Okay, function creation is very easy in CPP and Java concept. That's why they always prefer CPP and Java in most of the applications. Okay, see here what he want to say is see here, as mentioned in chapter 2, you can use either target processor controller specific language, generally known as assembly level language or low level language. That's why I told you that low level languages, assembly level language or machine language is the low level language. Okay, and both are comes under low level language. Okay? Or a target processor controller independent languages. Okay, and a processor dependent and processor independent, two types can divide చేశాడు వీడు. సో మనం యాక్చువల్గా లో లెవెల్ అండ్ హై లెవెల్ అనుకున్నాం, బట్ here he classified as a processor dependent and processor independent. Processor dependent means low level languages, machine level language. Directly they understood. Okay, directly they understood okay, what I am saying. Okay, and another one is processor independent. Processor independent means high level languages, somewhat C, CPP, Java. Okay? And to understand these high level languages, it needs some translator. Okay, it needs some translator. And if you know Telugu and I know Telugu, okay, if I communicate with in Telugu, okay, it doesn't require any translator in between you and me. Okay, that is called a processor dependent language. And processor independent language means, okay, in between you and me one translator is there, but that translator able to translate any level language, any level of language into your understandable format. Understand? Okay, and when I'm speaking Malayalam, okay, you didn't understand that Malayalam language. Okay, but the translator know, okay, that Malayalam language. Okay, the translator converts that Malayalam into Telugu. Okay, for suppose when I speak in Hindi, the translator converts that Hindi into Telugu. Okay, understand? That is called, and irrespective of the translator know all the languages. Okay, but you are the processor, you know only Telugu language. Okay, so when I'm speaking Telugu, there is no need of translator here. That's why that is called a processor dependent. Okay, okay, if I speak in other than Telugu, okay, you didn't understand what I'm saying. That's why you need one translator. Okay, that translator is take care of, okay, what are the different languages, any language that is converted into your understandable format. That is called processor independent. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, that is the point he tried to uh, explain in that first line. Okay, next, assembly language based development. Assembly language based development. What is meant by assembly language? Okay, Assembly language is the language which is developed with an assemblers. What are the assemblers? What are the assemblers? Assemblers, assemblers in the assemblers in the sense, okay, and a group of characters. Okay, group of characters. That group of characters convey some understandable meaning. Okay, that group of characters, those are called mnemonics. Okay, and that program is based on those assemblers or mnemonics. Okay, and just like an example of ADD. What is meant by ADD? Add. Then what is meant by SUB? Subtraction. What is meant by DIV? Division. What is meant by MUL? Multiplication. And if MUL is the group of characters which conveys the useful format as multiplication. Okay, and it understands when you represent MUL some 2 comma 3, MUL 2 comma 3. Okay, that is a that I am directly mentioning with immediate numbers, but it's having its own syntax. MUL 2 comma 3 in this sense multiply 2 and 3. Okay, and in practical we assign as MUL some 3. Okay, MUL 2 comma 3 means multiplication 2 and 3. In practical already you know the programming of 8086. Okay, in that we mention MUL comma MUL 03. What it means? MUL AX comma or AL comma 03. Okay, and MUL 2 comma 3 in comparison with MUL 03. Okay, MUL 03 means MUL AX comma 3 or AL comma 3. AL contains 02. Okay, that is the default value, and that is the syntax, general syntax for that format. Okay, assembly language law, that is the one format. Okay, and that is the syntax. Okay, and MUL is the assembling of the characters. MUL that gives the useful information as multiplication of 2 and 3, and store the result in AL only, and that is the meaning. Okay, and when we consider the assembly language program of 8086. Okay, see here, assembly language is an human readable notation of machine language. Okay, machine language means zeros and ones format. Zeros and ones format. Did you understand what is meant by 0 and 1 and 1 0 combinations here? Okay, you don't know. When I am developing this processor or controller, okay, 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0. Okay, performs the addition operation. Okay, and if me only understand 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 as addition. Okay, and you are the third person. My processor is the first person, I am the second person, and you are the third person. As a third person, did you understand the meaning of 1 0 1 0 and 1 0 1 0? No, you are unable to understand the meaning of that combination, 1 0 1 0 combination. Okay, that's why I mentioned that 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 combination to group of characters as ADD. Then you somewhat understand 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 combination gives the addition. Okay, ADD, and instead of mention ADDITION, it occupies okay, more space. Okay, okay, when these instructions are stored in memory permanently, it occupies more space. That's why that mentioned with minimum number of characters. Okay, that's why ADD. Okay, instead of 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0, you best understand that ADD, addition. Okay, that is the low level language. If you consider it, then it is the low level language. Later I mentioned that ADD as ADDITION, addition. Then you perfectly understands. Okay, you perfectly understand. You perfectly understand ADD stands for addition completely. Okay, that is the high level language. That is the difference here. Okay, see here, Assembly language is a human readable notation of machine language, whereas machine language is a processor understandable format. Okay, that 1010 combination is understand by that machine only. Okay, why? Because all that machine internally contains one processor, main processor. Okay, main processor controller. That processor controller internally contains number of transistors as a switches. Okay, okay, that switches only operates with on and off. Okay, 0 volts and 5 volts. That's why that is in logic that is treated as a zeros and ones. Okay, that is the processor understandable language. Okay, processors deal only with binaries, already you know. Okay, machine language is a binary representation and it consists of zeros and ones. Okay, that is the point, already you know. Machine language is made readable using specific symbols called mnemonics. Okay, that is the point I told you now. Hence, the machine language can be considered as an interface between processor and a programmer. Okay, kada? Okay, the language, not only machine language, any language is considered as an interface between you and me. Okay, here I am talking with that machine. Okay, that machine having its own language is the machine language. Okay, if I okay, uh, okay, if I place one translator in between that machine and me. Okay, one translator. Okay, the translator converts okay, any language, any language. Okay, I am speaking with. Okay, any language I am speaking with is converted into that machine understandable format. Okay, that is called processor independent language. Okay, here machine language can be considered as an interface between the processor and the programmer. Assembly language and machine languages or processor controller dependent, and an assembly program written for one processor controller family will not work with others. Okay, అంటే when okay, the machine language or assembly language I'm writing for the 8051 is quite different from okay 8051 is quite different from 88NC51, 88NC52, okay 8052, 4004, 8008, 8085. Okay, why? Because each processor having its own instruction set. Okay, each processor controller having its own instruction set. Okay, when we speak with that instructions only. Okay, when we speak with that instructions only it can understand. Okay, until if you are a Telugu person, you know, you understand only Telugu language. If you are a okay, if your native language is Hindi, you can understand only Hindi language. Okay, if you Kannada, you understand only Kannada language. Here also same. Okay, processor to processor instruction set is different. That's why processor to processor somewhat this language is different. Okay, of course assembly language, that assembly language in the sense, low level language in the sense. Okay, that machine understandable formats only. Okay, whatever the manufacturer, okay, whatever the manufacturer assigns, the meaning of 10101010 is add for 8051. 10101010, the same code is subtraction for another processor controller. Okay, okay, it may vary with different families and different companies. Okay, different manufacturers. Okay, assembly language and machine language languages or processor controller dependent, and an assembly program written for one processor controller family will not work with others. Okay, assembly language programming is a task of writing processor specific machine code. Okay, 10101010 I told you from starting, that is called machine code. Okay, when we assign some characters, group of characters to understand that machine format is called mnemonic. Okay, okay, and when we add, okay, when we give the instruction as add 2,3 to that machine first of all converts that add. What is meant by add here? Assigned. Okay, what is the machine code assigned to this add? That 10101010 is the machine code that is assigned to the add. First that interpret what is the meaning of add here. Okay, that is called a decoding. Okay, okay, on the decoding, ADD is replaced with 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. Okay, and perform 2 comma 3 kada, add 2 comma 3 and 2 plus 3 5. Okay, and that result is stored in 5. Okay, and that result is stored in accumulator as a 5 in accumulator. Okay, and in place of 2 according to syntax. That syntax depends upon different process and controllers. Here assembly language programming is the task of writing processor specific machine code in mnemonic form. Okay, converting that mnemonic into actual processor instructions and machine language. Okay, just I tell you. Okay, just I told you now. And associated data means 2 comma 3 using assembler. Okay, see here assembly language program was most common type of programming adopted in beginning of the software revolution. Okay, actually first లో మనకు స్టార్ట్ చేసినప్పుడే అసెంబ్లీ లాంగ్వేజ్ అంటే ఫస్ట్ వచ్చింది అది. Okay, first machine level language, but that machine level language is not user friendly. Okay, why Facebook or Google Gmail is more popular than other social apps are there, and other mail domains are also there. Why? Because that is very user friendly compared to other softwares. Okay, here 10101010, that is a machine language. That machine language understandable by only few persons only, who the persons who are expert in the domain of microprocessor and microcontrollers. Those persons only understand the meaning of this combination. Okay, that too only assembly language program, not for machine code. That machine code is only understand by that manufacturer. Okay, and it is very difficult. That is not very user friendly. Okay, and earlier in the development of first in the year of 1971 72, where the first microprocessor is developed, at that time they prefer such type of machine language, and only few members are understand that machine language, and that language programming experts are available. Okay, so here assembly language program was the most common type of programming adopted in beginning of the software revolution. If we look back to the history of programming, we can see that the number of programmers were written entirely in assembly language only. Even in the 1990s, the majority of the console video games were written in assembly language, including most popular games written for the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Okay, and actually, when you could video gaming companies. Okay. The popular arcade game NBA Jam, released in 1993, was also coded entirely using assembly language. And earlier they developed. Okay, and you also earlier the electronics developed. అంటే విజయవాడ ఎలక్ట్రానిక్స్ ఉంది కదా. ఓకే, ఎలక్ట్రానిక్స్ డెవలప్ చేసిన కొత్తలో కూడా దే ఆల్వేస్ ప్రిఫర్ అసెంబ్లీ లాంగ్వేజ్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్. ఓకే, ఫర్ దట్ డిస్ప్లేస్, మూవింగ్ మెసేజ్ డిస్ప్లేస్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఆల్ దోస్ మూవింగ్ మెసేజ్ డిస్ప్లేస్ ఆర్ ఓకే programmed with only assembly level language. Okay, even today almost all low level system related programming is carried out using assembly languages. Okay, and in most of the cases, and the person who experts in that processor controllers. Okay. Some operating system dependent tasks requires low level languages. Okay. In particular, assembly language is often used in writing low level interaction between the operating system and hardware, for instance of just like in device drivers. Okay. Okay, these are some examples of machine level, I mean assembly language. Move a comma #30 and 8051 ASM తీసుకున్నారు కదా. Okay, move a comma 30, what it means. Okay, move the number 30 into accumulator A, then the instruction mnemonic moves the decimal value 30 to the 8051 accumulator. Okay, here move A is the opcode. Opcode in the sense operational code, and what operation it would have to perform. Okay, 30 is the operand. Operand is nothing but a data. Okay, move the data of 30 to accumulator A. Okay, the same instruction when written in machine language, it would like, okay, see here 0 1 1 0 0 0 1 1 1 0. Okay, okay, which one you best understand here? Okay, move a comma 30, move means movement. Okay, moving number 30 to accumulator, it's somewhat understandable than this machine language. Okay, where the first 8-bit binary value represents the opcode. Here the meaning of move A. This is the meaning of move A. Did you understand? Okay. It is very difficult to understand. Okay. It's the meaning of move A. Okay. And if you have, okay, that instruction set, the machine codes are available with you, then only it is possible to understand. And the second 8-bit binary represents the operand. Okay. Similarly, increment A, decrement A, okay, uh, and call and return functions, okay, delay functions, okay. All these are examples of assembly level language. Okay, that's all about assembly language programming. Okay, ఇంకా చెప్పుకుంటూ ఉంటే అంటే చాలా చాలా ఉంటుంది, but it's enough for today. So I will continue in the next class. Okay, already time is 3. So I will continue in the next class. Okay, thank you everybody.